Hey y'all, it's Anime K-Man. Today I'm going to be reading the first episode of Girly Air Force, and I gotta say, this episode, while it wasn't the most entertaining thing I've ever seen in the world, or at least for this anime season, it did a serviceable job of making itself somewhat interesting, because it's got a mystery element going for it when it comes to like these Zai beings that are attacking humanity with their special fighter jets that can seemingly dodge the weaponry of like normal fighter jets, and that can maneuver their guns and move around and all that. So it's somewhat interesting, and simultaneously this episode did a decent job of making me feel some sympathy towards the main character, at the very least, with him losing his parents, and at least his mother. I didn't mention his father yet. So it also does a decent job from the character standpoint, and additionally, you even have like one of his friends, Minha, who cares about him and all that, and the episode did a decent job of showing her as a caring individual with like a hard shell, but on the inside she's kind of sweet and doesn't want to see Case get hurt or anything, because Kay is the last person she knows in the country. So all in all, there were some positives about this episode that were nice. And another cool thing about this episode from the story standpoint was this interesting pink-haired character that essentially saves the main character from the start of the episode, and she kind of gave off 02 vibes, especially when she kissed the MC after the MC helps rescue her from possibly drowning. So that was another portion of the episode that I kind of liked. Managed to wake her up just in time when her jet crashed in the water. And she has like this vibe of, man, I want to see what this character is all about. So from a character standpoint, while it wasn't extravagant and none of the characters made me laugh, none of them made me say, man, I hate this character. Fuck this show because of this character. No, it was more of, you know what? I'll check out more episodes. I'm curious. So the episode did that for the most part pretty well. So from a character standpoint, it was slightly above average, at least. Now and he even did a good job of finding goals. Like Kay, he wants to become a fighter pilot so that he can kind of avenge his mother, and he can take on the Zai because they're wreaking havoc. So at the very least, did a good job of giving us the main character's goal on the span of episode, showing us why he's thinking the way he does, why he acts the way he does. So that was a positive. Now, as for the story, it had pros and cons. Now, the pros were, it was interesting to see the dogfights and the fighter jets and the alien fighter jets dodge and like shoot bullets and all that. It gives the main character and the people that he's inevitably going to work with an underdog feeling. So it's going to make the fights feel emotionally engaging. Now, the downside is they introduced this green pen, this pink-haired girl that was operating the spider jet, and then it brings to the question, is this anime going to end up in a situation where the pink-haired girl is going to have this fighter jet that's fucking super overpowered, that the enemy jets are going to be like fucking nothing and all that kind of stuff? That's the only slightly worried thing about the story, because we've seen it multiple times in mechs where the main character gets a super overpowered mech and he makes everyone fucking worthless and fuck all of everyone else. And that usually happens. Hopefully it doesn't do that, but that might be something slightly worrying about the story. That isn't, for now, it's not lowering my enjoyment, but that's something I'm seeing. And then another thing about the story that's slightly worrying is, on the first episode, there was like this fighter jet that's really fucking powerful being transported, and you would think that the military would like cover it up with some kind of vehicle so that it's not noticeable, so that maybe it doesn't get taken away by domestic terrorists or spy agencies or any of that shit. It's just fucking going through town easily without any hidden coverings. And while, yes, it didn't affect the story, it shows that the writers don't really pay attention to some certain minor details. And while that's not really big of a deal, It's slightly worrying because in future episodes it could imply that the writers might let bigger things slip. Hopefully this is just the only instance, but that's something that kind of bugged me a little bit about this episode. But at the very least, it didn't bore me, so that's a positive, and I was entertained. Now, from the animation and art standpoint, animation is good when it's the fighter jets fighting with CG, the glowing ones. They honestly pop, they look visually engaging. As for the character designs, they're alright. I mean, some character designs look like copies of other animes, like this pink-haired girl looks like a younger version of, like, say, Zero 2 from Drawing the Franxx, and then K, the main male MC, kind of looks like the MC from Akuma Kill Tatsumi, but with, like, a black hairdo instead of, like, a brown hairdo. At least a little bit. It's giving me that kind of vibes with this character design. But, for the most part, the art's K, with the animation having some cool scenes here and there when it comes to the CG fights. And all in all, taking all this into consideration, I'm going to rate this episode a 5.5 out of 10. Just a smidge above average, because it didn't bore me and there were more goods than bads, but it did have a few things worrying me where I'm going to check out the second episode, feel it out, and that'll be the one where I determine whether I keep watching this show or not. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment down your thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and reactions, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more. Alright, guys and gals, bye-bye.